Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the International Space Medicine Summit. We're pleased to have you all with us this morning. The summit is co-hosted by the Baker Institute and Texas A&M University, as well as the Baylor College of Medicine. I would like to introduce the director of the Baker Institute, Ambassador Edward Djerejian. Ambassador Djerejian came to the Baker Institute after a long and distinguished career in the U.S. Foreign Service, serving as the ambassador to Israel as well as the Syrian Arab Republic. And he also served as the Assistant Secretary for Near Eastern Affairs in the State Department. So let me turn it over to Ambassador Djerejian.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and distinguished guests. It's an honor to welcome you all to the 15th International Space Medicine Summit, hosted by Rice University's Baker Institute for Public Policy alongside Texas A&M University. This series was created by my esteemed colleague George Abbey, the former director of NASA Johnson Space Center and current senior fellow in space policy at our institute. I want to thank George for his hard work and dedication over the past 15 years, which has contributed to becoming one of the world's premier space medicine conferences. I also want to give a very warm welcome to the representatives from Europe, the United Kingdom, Canada, Russia, and Japan to the summit. We are also pleased to have Dr. Amy Waer, Dean and Executive Dean for Education and Academic Programs at Texas A&M's College of Medicine, as our keynote speaker, as well as Professor Bonnie Dunbar from Texas A&M with us this morning. We meet to discuss maximizing the research on the International Space Station, a truly unprecedented international endeavor with 15 nations working together. The station has been continuously manned now for over 21 years, since November of 2000. We are fortunate to have with us today as a participant in the summit, the commander of that very first expedition, Bill Shepard. Throughout history, international cooperation between nations has brought great change across the world. The potential benefits from a global collaboration among 5 member space agencies representing 15 countries that have created an international space station can be far-reaching. Biology, biotechnology, and human physiology research of the station, for example, are leading to new insights into human health on Earth. The space station will have a lasting legacy as its research advances the state of scientific knowledge of Earth, works to protect human health, develop innovative technologies, and provides a space platform that educates and inspires future generations. NASA has been given a charter to return to the moon, and there is a great deal of discussion of future human missions to Mars. Making such missions happen will require much more than words. There are significant technical challenges, as you are all well aware of, to overcome and much more to learn about the effects of long-duration spaceflight on the human body. We are indeed fortunate to have the International Space Station as a research facility that can help provide the answers that are required to enable longer exploration missions. The space station has a finite lifetime, and it is essential that we all work together to maximize the return from the experiments conducted on board the station. The summit has a panel devoted to working together to achieve that goal. It also has a panel devoted to discussing the next cooperative steps for lunar exploration and beyond. Maximizing our research on the space station will provide the foundation for those next steps. So as we look to return to the moon, may we build on the foundation of our international cooperation on the space station and return to the moon together. If we choose to undertake a manned mission to Mars, may that also be done together. It is very appropriate, I think, that we take time during the summit to recognize the Apollo program and the 50th anniversary of the 3rd and 4th lunar landing missions, Apollo 14 and Apollo 15, as well as recognizing the 40th anniversaries of the first 2 shuttle flights. There's also recognition in the panel discussions of the ever-increasing role of the private sector as companies such as SpaceX, Blue Origin, and Virgin Galactic engage in space travel and space research. Their record-making flights have brought an entirely new dimension to human spaceflight. So I am also pleased to note that there will be a panel on education at the summit, emphasizing the importance of inspiring future generations of young students to pursue careers in science and engineering, a very important goal. Their innovative new ideas will help enable the next stages of human space exploration. We have successfully built an outstanding research facility in space through international cooperation and is a great model to build on for the future. I am hopeful as we look for future partnerships that our international crews can work together as one team, working for a common goal to explore outer space and further our scientific understanding of the universe. I wish you every success with your deliberations over these next few days. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ambassador. I would like to also welcome all of the participants who are attending the International Space Medicine Summit today. We normally have it in person, but due to the pandemic, we are having it online. And as I say, it's co-hosted by the Baker Institute, Texas A&M University, and the Baylor College of Medicine. I would like to mention the fact that we have 3 discussion groups after the last panel, which will be on November 22nd, Monday. And I would encourage all of you to participate in those 3 discussion groups. They will be held right after panel 7 on Monday. One group will be on cooperative research. The second group will be on the design consideration for lunar and space exploration spacecraft. And the third group will be on education. And I think those discussions, I think, will be very worthwhile, and I would encourage you all to participate. I would like to introduce Jeff Sutton, who is with the Baylor College of Medicine, one of our co-hosts, and I'll turn it over to Jeff.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Abbey. On behalf of the Center for Space Medicine at Baylor College of Medicine, I welcome all of you to ISMS 2021. Since the very first summit held in 2007, the college has been pleased to work with the Baker Institute for Public Policy on this wonderful, informative, and unique annual conference. Thank you, Ambassador Djerejian, for your eloquent and insightful remarks this morning and for your support of the summit year over year. We're very appreciative of all of you taking the time to attend the summit. I want to extend an especially warm welcome to our international colleagues whose participation we value very much. There's an interesting mix of panels at this year's summit, as the ambassador outlined. All of us look forward to learning from the collective wisdom of the participants and in sharing knowledge, experiences, and perspectives. Exchanges among the panelists and audience are encouraged. I want to thank in advance all of the moderators and panelists and to acknowledge those involved in organizing this meeting. Richard Jennings, Leroy Chow, Bonnie Dunbar, Mike Barrett, Igor Savalev, and Jason Lyons have been instrumental. However, it's the leadership and effort of George Abbey who is the driving force behind this summit and makes everything possible. Mr. Abbey, you have our utmost gratitude and appreciation. Please enjoy this year's summit, and I hope that all of you have a rewarding meeting. It's my pleasure now to ask Bonnie Dunbar to make some welcoming remarks. Bonnie is a former NASA astronaut who is now an eminent research professor in the Department of Aerospace Engineering at Texas A&M University.
Well, thank you very much, Jeff. It's a real pleasure to be here and an honor to represent Texas A&M University. I've had the good fortune to be part of this summit for many years before joining Texas A&M. When I approached Texas A&M about helping to sponsor the summit, Dr. Dimitri Lagoudas had no hesitation. We had just, we're in the process of launching the EdMed program. We've been organizing around space themes at the university now for the last couple of years to identify where in particular we can support the exploration back to Moon and Mars. And so we've continued with the sponsorship for the last few years. We're very excited about the opportunity as a university to return to the moon, to inspire our students into science and technology and medicine. And the medical part of it is now taking on new importance, and you'll hear from Dr. Waer in just a moment about that. Out there in the audience that I can't see, we have a collective group of colleagues and friends that I've known all through the years, many years at NASA, maybe not so many as Mr. Abbey there. We have an opportunity here that we do need to grasp, we need to promote, and we need to energize. We will only be successful in our exploration back to the moon and onto Mars if we can recruit and educate the next generation. And that means more than just our focal group here. We need to work with our community, our engineering community, our medical community, our science community. We need to ensure that human system integration, which is a topic I teach at the university, is inserted into all aspects of our spacecraft design, our spacesuit designs, which is another area that I'm focused on as well. To give you an indication of some of the initiatives that we are starting at Texas A&M, we have been able to acquire the once retired NASA short arm centrifuge, which had been at the University of Texas Medical Branch. Using some funds that the university gave me upon arrival, I've built a centrifuge building. It's largely complete. The centrifuge is nearly fully installed. It'll be checked out in the next couple of months. It's at our Human Clinical Research Facility on campus. Our intent is to provide a world-class national facility on our campus to support not just our research, but the national research and the international research as we look at partial gravity environments of Moon and Mars. Just one indication of where we're going. On the area of human and robotic interaction, Dr. Rob Ambrose, who used to be at NASA, leading the effort in robotics, has now joined our faculty as well. We have two other astronauts at Texas A&M. We have Dr. Nancy Gregg, Curry Gregg, and we have Dr. Greg Chamatoff. Nancy and I are doing quite a bit of collaboration on advanced spacesuit development. We're hoping that we can think outside the box, fit all astronauts in the future, reduce injuries, reduce mass, and maybe take advantage of some of the lessons learned from Apollo in the A7LB. So I have several students working in that area as well. So it's a very much an exciting time at the university. We're collaborating across with other universities that are like-minded in space exploration. We are starting to recruit faculty in that area and to have focused workshops that with existing faculty that will support exploration. And this is all the way from identifying geological science on the moon to developing landing pads, to spacecraft design, to operations, to a project that I'm involved in right now on an artificial intelligence astronaut assistant named Daphne that we're testing at the Hera analog. So the university is excited. They continue to be a sponsor of this event, and I expect that to extend in the future as we also recruit more participants in this grand mission. I know we're perhaps a little bit early, but is Dr. Waer on the panel yet? I'd like to introduce her. Okay, I see that she's there. So Dr. Waer is going to talk about some exciting developments at Texas A&M. in space medicine as we move into that area. It's a real pleasure to be able to introduce her. She is the current dean of our Texas A&M College of Medicine. She's the Jean and Tom McMullen Endowed Deanship and the Executive Dean of Education and Academic Programs. She's actually served as the dean since January of this year. She has served as the interim dean. She was also the executive dean for education and academic programs for the college. She actually started with us in February of 2018. She joined Texas A&M after several decades of surgical experience and medical education from private group general surgery in Virginia, followed by 14 years at the University of Arizona Health Sciences Center and College of Medicine in Tucson, Arizona. She has served in multiple roles while in Arizona. She was the surgery clerkship director, the surgery residence program director, chair of general surgery, chief medical officer, medical director for the Arizona telehealth program, associate dean for curricular affairs, and the interim assistant vice president of interprofessional education, collaborative practice, and community engagement. She oversaw the rural health professions program at the University of Arizona, traveling throughout the state, conducting site visits and recruiting for the rural faculty preceptors. She holds numerous certifications, including being a member of the American Board of Surgery and a fellow of the American College of Surgeons. She's the recipient of numerous awards for her contributions to medical education and curriculum design, including the Charles Putman Teaching Award, voted by her peers, Award for Excellence in Clinical Science Teaching, and Introduction into Texas A&M's Medicine's Academy of Distinguished Medical Educators. She received her undergraduate and medical degrees from the University of Arizona. So please join me in welcoming Dr. Waer. Okay, I think we may have lost her a little bit there. Oh, she says that they're on, but someone needs to start her video and unmute her. There. Are we starting?
Good morning. Can you hear me now? Yes.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Dr. Dunbar. Good morning, everyone. I'm joining you from Bryan College Station, Texas, where Texas A&M University's main campus is. I'm very grateful for the opportunity to be giving this keynote speech. I want to thank all of you for joining us, particularly all of our international colleagues. Welcome and a big thank you and hello. So I'd like to start and end with a quote. My first quote is from Bob Barr, who I believe most of you know is an American attorney and politician and has been a big advocate for space innovation and space discovery. The quote is, "Looking down the road, space exploration and benefits it yields in medicine and information technology should not be overlooked." And I know that's not news to any of you and something that we need to be looking at, but I think it's just a good reminder of where we are and where we need to go. So space medicine as a branch of medicine was coined in the late 1940s and became a true concept in the 1950s with the start of human space exploration. The short-term and long-term effects of space on the human body are vast, as you all know, and still not all known. There are many factors that come into place: microgravity, radiation, isolation. The common diseases and illnesses that we face on Earth are not uncommon and not unseen in space. Upper respiratory tract infections, gastrointestinal disorders, associated fever from those illnesses. There's inevitable motion sickness, as those of you that have been astronauts know, barotrauma, decompression sickness, decreased immune system,
декомпрессионная болезнь, сокращение иммунитета, сальмонеллез, который может происходить просто от испорченных продуктов питания, содержащих сальмонеллу. И это не редкость.
Hours are long, the duties are hard, fatigue in general, loss of balance, and there's been determined to be increased cardiac dysrhythmias or heart abnormalities. Longer term, we're still exploring and discovering all of this, but blindness, bone loss, osteoporosis due to the microgravity environment, premature aging, also increased Alzheimer or premature Alzheimer's, and increased dementia in general. Any of these topics we could spend hours discussing, but we just have a short time here. So remember that most of our first human space explorers were military test pilots. This then expanded to include scientists and physicians, as all of you know, and many of you are. As it was spoken about earlier,
Как мы ранее уже говорили,
available to the general public. Space Perspective is one company that started luxury space flights and allows one pilot and up to 8 tourists or public individuals to do a 6-hour around the world trip. The cost of this is $125,000 per person, and this was started and founded in 2019. As was alluded to earlier, Elon Musk started SpaceX, and they're planning to launch the first orbital flight of the Starship rocket, hopefully coming up in January of 2022. This will be planned for general public to go to the moon and to Mars. So think about that as we look at space medicine and all the implications of that as we open it up to the public. So the necessity of all this has led to the discovery and the need for innovation and additional research. And when I say research, I mean basic science research, translational research, clinical research, and was alluded to education, the education of students and the future astronauts and researchers and clinicians that will lead us to additional discoveries. The original premise of space medicine was that those individuals up in space could possibly, theoretically, be brought back to Earth for care within a matter of a few hours. But as the space exploration grows and the length of the missions increases, that's not going to be possible. So we need to think more innovatively and more creatively. So this has led to the need and the drive for further innovation. The need for miniaturization, the need for teleoperated surgical robots, the need for a diagnosis. As a general surgeon, I'm very mindful you need a diagnosis before you operate. We don't always get the luxury of having a diagnosis. Compact MRIs have been developed that can do slices and view and see what's going on. Virtual Incision Corporation, which was founded in 2006 in Lincoln, Nebraska, developed the first fist-sized robot with 2 arms that can perform microsurgeries or laparoscopic or minimally invasive surgeries. As you know, in space, everything is highlighted and not as easy. And as a general surgeon who has learned to operate on the Davinci robot in the early 2000s when it became FDA approved, it's not easy. And I can only imagine operating in space. Think about it for a moment. I learned on the Davinci robot how to do a laparoscopic cholecystectomy, which for those of you that may not know is the removal of the gallbladder. So whether it's infected or has gallstones. And we learned how to do that from the Davinci robot, where you have the port and you have an individual putting the ports in the patient, but you can be at the station in the same room or across the world. The first Davinci robot gallbladder surgery that I did, realizing that the typical surgery takes about 45 minutes, depending on the level of acuity and the level of infection, took me 3 hours. And that was on Earth, all right, with no microgravity issues. So we just need to put it in perspective there. Do we do laparoscopic Davinci robot surgery for gallbladders now? No. 20-some years later, no, because we've proven that we can do it with traditional minimally invasive laparoscopic procedures quicker than it takes to use the Davinci robot and the docking of that device. We do still continue to use the Davinci robot for targeted procedures such as in OBGYN, in urology with prostate surgery, and some cardiothoracic procedures. So thinking about that, think about how with the microgravity surgery, and again, I'm passionate about this being a general surgeon, how that affects things. They talk about the bowels floating, not to be too descriptive, and the bodily fluids, and how you have to be innovative to figure out how to do that. This has necessitated the invention of the Aqueous Immersion surgical system, also known as the AISS, which is a transparent box able to create a watertight seal over the wound for which the procedures can be done. But again, it is important to note that as far as I could tell, actual surgery, whether it be on any type of part of the body, laparoscopic, minimally invasive, and open, has not yet occurred in humans in space, but it's just a matter of time. Astronauts have operated on mice in space. They have dealt with the bowels floating and the bodily fluids and how to control that, but we need to advance to the next stage so that we can be able to do the diagnosis and then hopefully the surgery in space. Let's take a moment to reflect again that this is not an area that has not been already been very innovative and explored and developed and delivered, but there's a lot of unknowns still. So in closing, I want to bring us back to Texas A&M University here in Bryan College Station. I am grateful and proud of all of the space and space medicine research, whether it be basic science, translational, or clinical, that is occurring on this campus and with all of our collaborative partners throughout the world. Dr. Bonnie Dunbar, as you heard from earlier, very proud and grateful to have her as one of our faculty here. Dr. David Savea, who is on, and Dr. Pune Badger, who's on, are from our own College of Medicine Medical Physiology Department. And they have been partnering with NASA, working on the space mice, looking at ocular diseases and the occurrence from space for the mice. This will hopefully be soon transferable to what is occurring in the astronauts. I also want to give a shout out to retired Colonel, Dr. Jim Lucas, ENT surgeon, who joined us as our new military medicine department head in August of this year. Under his military medicine department is space medicine and austere medicine, and those will hopefully, as he grows his department, be divisions that will lead around this and collaborate with all of you. As you know, austere medicine is a new hot topic. It means having medicine and doing medicine with resources that are limited. Obviously, that includes space, but also in rural communities in Texas and other sites throughout the world. Our area of focus of space medicine in the College of Medicine, I am very proud of. Again, I'm honored and thankful to be here today with all of you, and I look forward to the presentations. I would like to end with a quote by Oliver Wendell Holmes, who I believe you know is an American scholar and a former Supreme Court justice. This quote is, "The great thing in this world is not so much where we stand as in what direction we are moving." And the fact that this population in our community is moving toward further innovations and discovery in space is just fantastic. And I look forward to seeing everything that occurs and everything that you're all doing. So with that, thank you all, and I look forward again to the presentations.